These are the tales from South Florida for you, with your host, Bill Monty.
Hello, and welcome to Tales from South Florida, the podcast where we take a talk down memory lane together and explore the people, places, and events that inhabit our corner of the Sunshine State. I'm your host, Bill Monty, and in today's tale, we're diving into a story of heartbreak, obsession, and stone. A tale of a man who built an extraordinary monument with his own two hands, using massive stones, mystery, and maybe some secret science. This is the story of Edward Leedskalnin and his creation, the Coral Castle. Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear might just change how you look at history's unsolved enigmas.
Does the news cycle make you feel like you're on a tilt-a-whirl of outrage? Feeling like your brain is a political piñata getting whacked 24/7? There's an antidote. Outrage Overload is the podcast where we hit the pause button on the outrage train. We dissect the headlines, peel back the layers of negativity, and explore the science behind why you keep wanting to throw your phone at the wall. Before you lose another brain cell to outrage fatigue, check out the Outrage Overload podcast at outrageoverload.net or wherever you get your podcasts.
Edward Leedskalnin was not a famous scientist, a world-renowned architect, or even a well-known inventor. He was a Latvian immigrant, standing only 5 feet tall, weighing about 100 pounds. And yet, despite these modest beginnings, Leedskalnin built one of the most mysterious structures on the planet, the Coral Castle. Now, if you live in South Florida, you've probably heard of it. It's located down in Homestead, Florida. Coral Castle is a massive stone fortress made of limestone blocks that can weigh several tons each. It is not just a quirky roadside attraction. It's a work of art, a physical manifestation of an impossible dream, and it's still standing today. But for those who don't live here, or who have never before heard of the Coral Castle, here's the catch. Nobody knows how he did it. In fact, the methods behind Leedskalnin's construction of Coral Castle have remained a mystery for decades. And trust me, we're not talking about small stones here. We're talking about stones that weigh as much as a car. And the man who built it? Well, he did it all alone, all by himself. How did he do it? Let's backtrack a little. Born in 1887 in Latvia, Edward Leedskalnin came to the United States in 1912. Like many immigrants at the time, he came searching for a better life. However, his journey was not typical. Leedskalnin's story is as much about loss as it is about achievement. In fact, his creation of Coral Castle is said to have been sparked by one of the deepest pains a person can experience: heartbreak. Leedskalnin's fiancée, a young woman named Agnes, was set to marry him. They were in love. But just days before the wedding, Agnes broke off their engagement. The reason for her rejection? Some say she was too young. Others believe it was a matter of family pressure. Whatever the reason, it crushed Edward. Now imagine the kind of emotional toll that this would take on someone. But instead of spiraling into despair, Leedskalnin made a decision. He would create something, a monument, that would immortalize his love. But Coral Castle, this was not just any monument. It was, in his own way, a magical creation. A structure built out of frustration, pain, and longing. And that's where the mystery deepens. Coral Castle was not just a tribute to a lost love. It was a puzzle. A series of blocks, each massive and perfectly carved, but with no clear explanation for how Leedskalnin was able to move them. Some of these stones weighed as much as 30 tons. Remember, Leedskalnin was only about 100 pounds himself. So how could this small, frail man lift and place such heavy materials? Here's the kicker. He worked on Coral Castle mostly at night. He did it all alone. and he never revealed how he managed it. He didn't even share any of his techniques with his visitors. People would come and watch him work, but they would leave just as baffled as when they arrived. Some believe Leedskalnin must have had some kind of secret knowledge. And that's where the theories start. One of the most popular theories is that Leedskalnin had discovered some ancient lost knowledge, something about magnetism and gravity. You see, he was obsessed with magnetism. He would write about it in his pamphlets, claiming that magnetism had the power to shape and move physical matter. Others speculated that he understood principles of levitation or even anti-gravity. This idea, tied to the mystery of how massive stones were lifted, was fueled by the fact that Leedskalnin was constantly experimenting with magnets, even though the scientific understanding of magnetism at the time was still in its infancy. Some people believe that maybe, just maybe, he knew something about the Earth's natural forces that no one else did. After all, he once said, "I have discovered the secrets of the pyramids." Now, of course, there might be a much simpler explanation. One that's a bit more grounded in reality. Maybe, just maybe, Leedskalnin was really good with simple mechanical tools. It's entirely possible that he used rudimentary levers, pulleys, and blocks and tackles to lift those stones. Maybe the guy just had an uncanny knack for using basic physics to his advantage. After all, he did have a lot of time and patience and grief on his hands. But here's the thing. We'll never really know. You see, Edward Leedskalnin died in 1951, and with him, the secret of how Coral Castle was constructed was buried. This has not stopped fascination surrounding his creation, however. People from all over the world continue to visit Coral Castle, trying to unravel the mystery of how one man could build such a complex, awe-inspiring structure alone and without modern machinery. Coral Castle, it's not just a physical structure. It's a testament to one man's will and his ability to channel his emotions into something far greater than himself. It's a place where science, mystery, and heartbreak converge, and it leaves us asking more questions than answers. And so the mystery of Edward Leedskalnin lives on, as people continue to wonder how a man with no formal education, no advanced tools, and no clear explanations built a monument to lost love. Was it a feat of mechanical genius? A discovery of hidden knowledge? Or was it something else entirely? Whatever the truth is, Coral Castle stands as a symbol of human ingenuity, of a man who, despite his broken heart, managed to create something that will continue to captivate the world for years to come. The one time that we visited Coral Castle, I was a young boy. I just remember it being really hot. There was a lot of mosquitoes, and there was a lot of stones, but I didn't quite understand the mystery of those stones and have the questions that I would have today. On our YouTube channel, Tales from South Florida, we visit a lot of the spots that we talk about here on the audio podcast. And I think I see a visit to Homestead in my future, to go back and see for myself the mystery of the Coral Castle. Thank you for taking the time to visit us today on Tales from South Florida. If you'd like to comment on this episode, please visit talesfromsouthflorida.com or scroll down into the show notes. There you can leave me a message, click on the Speak Pipe tool to leave a 90-second voicemail, or you can text me or reach out at billmonty04@gmail.com. My friends, join us on the next episode for another of the Tales from South Florida, where we look at the people, places, and events that made and make South Florida a unique place to visit. I can't wait to take another talk down memory lane with you. Until then, as always, I remind you, please be safe and be kind.
Let's take a talk down memory lane, 'cause the stories around here are just insane. Pirates World, the Sporto and Wolfies do. Palm Beach to Key West, that's where we grew. These are the tales from South Florida for you. With your host, Bill Monty.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.